So, I was listening to my one of my post game videos or post quarter analyses, and a thought came into my head, man. And I know this has been discussed at length in different segments of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, just social media, and it's just like, damn, man. The Lakers at one point had Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance, and Josh Hart all on the team. And a couple others like Kyle Kuzma and Zubac and a couple others. And you sit there and you see how well these guys are doing and playing, and you got to think to yourself, like, what this would have looked like if they had all stayed together. You would have had Lonzo at the 1, D'Lo at the 2, B.I. at the 3, Randall at the 4, and probably Zubac at the 5. And then off your bench, you got Jordan Clarkson, Kyle Kuzma, and Josh Hart. Now, I'm not saying these cats is going to dominate and win a championship and everything. I'm not saying that. But they would have been good. They would have been real good. And, like, they would have put up points. And I promise you, Lonzo would have been putting up, like, 12 and 10. Because everybody on that court can score in some capacity next to him. And even if you want to say, well, they never played with D'Lo, so he wouldn't be on the team. Fair enough. I wouldn't argue with that. But we would just, in my opinion, at that point, you just slide B.I. to the 2 and Kuzma to the 3, and there you go. And now, you in business, right? And so, to me, it's just like, wow. Like, I get it, LeBron, AD, and now Russ. I get it. But at the same time, in the next 2 or 3 years, where are all those players going to be? Like, we saw what they look like as rookies for the most part. Jordan Clarkson is a 6th man of the year. Kyle Kuzma seems like he's been reborn again in Washington, and he's playing exceptionally well. Randall is an all-star. Brandon Ingram is an all-star. Lonzo is ascending. Zubac is on a competitive playoff team on the Clippers, and he's contributing at a high level. Where would these guys have been? Hell, Alex Caruso, too, who was on the Bulls. Where would this team be? Like, think about this. Like, hell, like, Josh Hart, is solid, okay? And you might argue they need probably a little bit more, maybe here or there. Okay, cool, but they can hoop, man. All them cats can hoop. And it just goes to show you, like, the Lakers did a fantastic job drafting. They got good quality guys. Like, just think about this. Out of all the guys I mentioned, they got at least 2 all-stars, guaranteed. Brandon Ingram and Randall both made an all-star game. Really, if you want to include Russell, too, they got him. They had 3 all-stars. 3 of them. And so far, of all the players they drafted, 1 has a ring, and the other 3 got into the playoffs and stuff. So, I mean, some of the players they actually 4 got into the playoffs, because of 5 if I include Caruso too, but I keep forgetting about Zubac and Zubac and Caruso, because Clarkson got in, Russ led a team to the playoffs, Randall was in the playoffs last year, and hell, if you add Zoe this year, bada bing, bada boom. But man, they had a nice little something. I don't think that team would have won a championship as it is. Like, you're gonna need a lot more. But I mean, like, just I could kind of see, and I know people are gonna be like, "Fuck Luke Walton," but I can kind of see Luke Walton's vision. Like just watching Randall be able to pass the ball, B.I.'s a solid passer. Lonzo's obviously a passing savant. Caruso can pass. You know, they would have been good. And then you got shooting on that team. B.I. could shoot, Zoe could shoot, Randall could shoot, Kuzma could shoot, Clarkson could shoot. Like you got some Larry Nance off the bench. Like, nigga, they would have been good. And like just thinking about the bench unit, Caruso, Josh Hart, Larry Nance, Kuzma, and whoever the fuck else you want to put at the 5. If you want to say Thomas Bryant, fair enough. Thomas Bryant is starting, if I'm not mistaken, in Washington. And it's just like, them niggas was good. Like, they bench would have been good. Like, they bench would have been hell on earth, like, having to deal with that. And all you would have needed was the right coach. Like, imagine if Billy Donovan had that squad, you know what I'm saying? Or Steve Kerr. Or, any number of coaches in the league. It would have been fun basketball to watch. It would have been fun basketball to watch. And we know Kuzma hadn't really been the same without Zoe. So imagine what Kuzma would look like, like they would have been hell to deal with for any team. And so it's crazy, man. Like, they would have been real good, especially right now. Like, they would have been Atlanta West. They would have been Atlanta West. Sure would. And then they could, like, the thing that I'm thinking about is how versatile as fuck they could have been. They could have played Julius at small ball 5, slide Kuzma at the 4, have, B.I. at the 3, and then you can play Lonzo at the 1. And then the question is, who do you want off the bench at the 2? If you include D'Angelo Russell as a part of the core, then fine. You can just have him there, and there you go. They can play tall ball. Because, hell, I gave you the tall ball lineup anyway. It's Zoe, B.I., Kuz, Randall, and like, they can play defense. They got defensive pieces out there. They can space the floor. They can pace. They can play in the half court. It's versatility, man. That, like, I'm sitting here thinking about this, like Jordan Clarkson off the bench giving you buckets. They would have Larry Nance, who's still a very solid player. Josh Hart, who's solid. Caruso. Crazy. But they got their ring. They got their duo. They got their superstar. So I don't blame them for what they did. You make their trade every single time. Actually, I'll say this. They could have waited for AD's contract to be up. There's no guarantee that he would have just went to LA, even though I think he wanted to. It's like New York or Boston. And Boston at the time, I think, still had Kyrie. So, those were his options. You could have waited and said, okay, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Bron is aging. But to me, it just tells a lot to what this team or what that front office did. What do you think their record would have been? I think 45-37, maybe pushing 50 wins. But 45-37, or hell, even 47-35 works too. Somewhere around there. I think they would have given a lot of teams problems, though. And even in a playoff series, I don't think you would have wanted to deal with if they played their tall ball lineup, I don't think you would have wanted to see Bi, Kuzma, and did I say Kuzma? Kuzma and Randall out there on the court at the same time. Bi can shoot threes, Kuzma can shoot threes, Randall can shoot threes, Bi can play in the post. I'm not sure if Kuzma can play in the post. Randall for sure can play in the post. And then you got cut in action because Randall can find you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Matter of fact, I would love to have ran, like if it were me, I would have loved to have ran a small ball lineup. I would have loved it. I would have loved to see Jordan Clarkson and Caruso in the backcourt off the bench. Would have loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me thinking about how good of a team that they would have been, to me, is impressive, considering where they got. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have had the guy, like, would they have beaten my Mavs? Possible. It's like they would be so solid as a team. They wouldn't have a weakness at any position that they threw out there on the court. That's the other than center. You might have had to go try to get a center from somewhere. Like, you might have had to trade some things and some pieces and some picks to go get, say, Miles Turner. But then that's your squad, and you're like, okay, we got everything we need. And now you go play a team like the Mavs, you're like, okay. If they would have played, say, like a team like the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, it wouldn't have been an easy game for the Clippers. Like, the Clippers would not want to see them for 7 games because they're going to give them hell. And you telling Kawhi and Paul George they got to defend 4 out of 5 positions. I mean, yeah, they got at all times on the court. At all times. Even off the bench, you got to defend. Don't let them have D'Angelo Russell too. You got to defend. There is, like, you're not like you might say, okay, we leave Lonzo open. Lonzo and whoever the center is pick and roll. And people are gonna say, well, Lonzo's finishing and stuff ain't whatever. Fuck you. Okay. If I get Miles Turner, I'm running pick and roll. I'm winning that. And they're not stopping it. Not with a Reggie and Zubac. And yeah, we'll even let them have Zubac. They can keep Zubac. Zubac ain't stopping that shit. That's all I really want to say, though. It was just like a thought that came in my head, like, damn, them niggas was impressive. Like, shout outs to the Lakers organization. They actually did their thing drafting. They really did. Better than some other organizations that I'm not going to name. But, let me mention one other thing, too, since we talk about organizations. I need to go peep Orlando's tape. I need to watch more Orlando Magic tape. But they got some talent down there. It's just, it's not ready yet. It's too young. And I need to see who all, they playing out there. I know they still got Fultz. I don't know if he's back off of injury from last year or not. Jonathan Isaac is my guy. Yeah, I don't know if you follow my channel, I'm a fan of his. Mo Bamba, I'm a fan of his. I need to go peep Cole Anthony because everybody been talking about how good he is. I think he got some real nigga energy. Like, Anthony Edwards of Minnesota. I can't even front. I was not really an Anthony Edwards fan, but the way that he goes about playing has converted me. I'm not like a stan of his, but he's one of those guys on the court. I want him on my team every day. I want him on my team every day. He reminds me of me. He go out there, he talks shit, and he ain't playing pussy. It's the entire, like, he remind me of the 90s. Like, he going out there, and even post game, he not giving like the standard, yes or no, sir, ma'am interview. He's giving you like the real. Like he said, Giannis is 7'2", like 280 pounds. Like, put 4 motherfuckers on him, and he just gonna end everybody. Like, you just gotta let that nigga score, and just deal with everybody else. And I like that, he's open and personal and upfront about that kind of stuff. Like he's one of those type of dudes that he, to me, he's like what Russell Westbrook should be or wants to be, but can't be, in terms of on court theatrics. But yeah, Cole Anthony looked like he got some of that in him. And I like guys like that. And by the way, for the Bulls, they don't have enough of that on their team. Like, Zach gets it when he's pissed. But there's not that one guy on that team who's like I always say, I need a real nigga or a thug on the team. At least one. I gotta have at least one. And people might be like, what? like you gotta have that one guy on your team who has a energy about him and he ready to fight. Either we fighting winning the game or losing the game, or we fighting with fists. It's going down. I need one guy on every roster like that. That's why, that's why people wouldn't like me as a GM, because even if the guy's not getting much playing time, I need that. Because I need that to rub off on the other guys too. I need them to go out there feeling like, hey, yo, we busting heads open. Like, if we lose this game, we coming to y'all locker room, y'all finna see us. Like, I'm not saying that I really want them fighting and shit, but what I'm saying is I need that energy. I need that. Because Anthony Edwards take that shit personal, almost like Kobe did. Anthony Edwards is like the type, like, nah, bro, we lost. We finna play right now again. I know we just played 48 minutes. Play me one-on-one. I need guys like that in the locker room. I need a guy like that. So when you lose, it's personal. And the next team you play, and then they gonna feel it. And then when you play them again, you gonna give it to them. So one of the things that I'm really low key wanting for the Bulls is I need them to go out there and get a real nigga. Like, go find some hood dude. Find some hood dude trying to get into the league, man, and put him on the team. Javonte Green got a little bit of it, but he ain't good enough. He need a little bit more. He need a little bit more edge to him. Draymond Green got that edge to him, so I like Draymond. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple other cats in the league that got it. But yeah, man. I like to have at least one player on my team with some edge. Got to. And I need them in a rotation 9 times out of 10. They got to be in a rotation. Even if they ain't starting, they got to be in a rotation so they can cause some hell and some problems in the locker room. They need to make sure people, like, I like Jimmy Butler. And when people were against Jimmy, I was for Jimmy. Everything Jimmy did in Minnesota, I thought was necessary. Sure did. Because he's the first player to get that team into the playoffs. They had been into the playoffs since he left. Hadn't been close to it. You can argue injuries and other stuff. Okay. Now, that might change. That might change this year because them boys is hooping. Them boys is legit. But I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it 100% real. You need guys like Jimmy Butler, man. Like, think about what Jimmy has been working with. And when you look at that roster, you start actually comparing. Ask yourself, how the fuck did he get this team to the playoffs? He took a team with Tyler Hero rookie year, and then Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo. That's who he took to the playoffs and went to the finals with, and took 2 games off of the Lakers with AD and LeBron. You don't do that without having that edge. You got to. It's necessary. Anyways, I just came from grocery shopping. Let me get my stuff up in the house. I just wanted to make a quick video, and it kind of turned into a ramble. But, yeah, man. Lakers young core would have been nice. And always find a real nigga. Y'all have a good one. Peace.